Hi, today I'm going to make what's called an omelet rice. Originally, I wanted to take the kimchi I made in one of my last videos and kind of use it up and make a kimchi fried rice. I saw a Japanese cooking show and they made omelet rice and it looked pretty interesting. And I know one of my Japanese coworkers, he said one of his favorite dishes was omelet rice. And one thing about omelet rice and Japanese cuisine is they like their food on the mild side and a little bit sweet, where the original recipe would use ketchup or tomato sauce in the rice. But here, since I have kimchi, I get the red that way and adds a little extra spice. So what I have here is 3 slices of bacon, a quarter of a white onion, 1 stalk of celery. You could use anything you want. A clove of garlic right here. This is cauliflower rice, about 2 cups. In terms of fried rice, you could use day-old rice or fresh rice, especially if it's short or medium grain. I think there's a myth that you have to use day-old rice, but that may be for long grain rice I've used fresh rice and it turned out pretty good. And one of my favorite places is like Din Tai Fung, and I think they use fresh rice for their fried rice dish. And then I have 2 eggs beaten with salt and pepper and a little milk. So first thing I'm going to do is fry off the bacon and then add the aromatics. And as you notice, I don't have soy sauce. You could still use soy sauce as you want. This actually has salt and ginger, garlic, green onions, as well as the Napa cabbage in the kimchi I made. And it has natural fermentation. It has a sourness to it, a vinegariness to it. All right, one of the first things I do is fry off the bacon. The bacon is actually optional since the kimchi has a lot of flavor, but I was just craving some bacon and added it to the recipe. And in terms of how cooked or crispy you like the bacon, it's up to personal preference. All right, here's the bacon. It looks like it's browned nicely. Then now I'm going to add the onions, the aromatic vegetables, and just cook it briefly till the onions kind of get a little translucent. And I think one of the keys, I'll add a little salt, even though the kimchi and the bacon has salt, but I kind of like adding just a pinch. One thing about the kimchi I added extra of the kimchi fluid, the kimchi juice, about a couple tablespoons, as well as this is about 1/3 of a cup of kimchi. You could use more or less, but I'm just going to cook this down. One thing about cooking fried rice, or at least the way I like to do it, is just cook the veggies and make a sort of a thick sauce or a sauce. Then when you add the rice, you can mix it all together and then cover it and let it steam a little. Especially if you use cold long grain rice, you need the moisture to help rehydrate the rice. And pretty much the veggies are the raw part. The rice is usually cooked, and the kimchi doesn't really need that much cooking either. So you're basically frying and warming up and getting some crisping action going. All right, the veggie mixture looks like it's getting some color and kind of turning translucent. I'm going to add the rice and stir that in and fry that up a bit. Let it absorb. In terms of how much oil you'd like to use, I generally try to use a couple tablespoons. If your bacon puts off a lot and you're using real rice, or long grain rice, or instead of this cauliflower rice, you'd probably want more oil so the rice can fry. I'm going to add a little toasted sesame seed oil. With this, a little goes a long way. So probably 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. Just mix it in. And I'll add the kimchi and the juice. Just stir until everything kind of gets a uniform color. Still more juices. Alright, just mix. The idea is to get everything mixed and kind of heat everything up and let things fry so you get the browning action going, as I mentioned earlier. Now I'll just give it a quick taste to see if there's enough salt going on. It's good. Just add a little more salt. Okay, the rice is done. Typically, ketchup is used in the rice, but I have the kimchi, and I think I'll just add some sriracha to add a little more heat and color. Okay, this is done for sure. Alright, here's the omelet part of it. I'm just making sure this is beaten thoroughly. I have about a teaspoon or 2 of clarified butter that I've melted. Just waiting for this to come up to temperature a little bit. There it goes. One thing about the omelet part of the omelet egg is that I think in the traditional recipe the egg is very soft. And I'm not a big fan of soft scramble. Just want to try to cook the egg. There's no flipping involved. That's why it ends up being soft. Spreading it around, just try to make sure it gets cooked uniformly. One thing with the cooking the egg, it's going to be turned out. You need a pan this is kind of a sloping 90 degrees. You want a pan that's not sloping as much, so the egg will slide out of the pan nicely. Now you take about however much you want. I'll put half of the fried rice in. Now you flip it out. And typically it looks like a football, so you shape it in the football shape, or typical filled omelet, and now you garnish and serve. Here's the finished omelet egg with a little kimchi on the side to let us know that there's kimchi in it. Also, typically it's topped with ketchup, but I'm not eating ketchup, so I use the hot sauce. So a little hot sauce, some green onions, and then some red pepper flakes. All right, let's give this dish a try. So omelet, kimchi fried rice and an omelet. I like the hot sauce. It adds a nice zip, and the kimchi definitely adds a lot of flavor. You can taste the bacon. It's a nice bacony flavor. Pretty good. Overall, like success.